Hi everybody, it's Diana from The Wayward Cat and Wayward Cat Publishing, and I am going to start a new project and I'm going to try to film every step. What I want to do is create a journal out of these giant playing cards that I got at an antique mall back in Florida. And I want to use the tab binding method where you put little tabs on them, and I saw a video on how to do it. I'm going to try to do it, and it might be funny to watch me mess up, but we'll see. And I'm going to use this fabric for the tabs. I'm going to have to, I don't know, maybe tea dye it, although it looks a bit stained already. Maybe I'll stamp on it. I saw somebody do that, and then I'll cut it into little tabs. So my first step, oh, and sorry about the glare on these cards, but my first step is going to be to rough up the cards and at least ink the edges and probably do some other stuff to them before I bind them into a journal. So that will be the first part. So the first thing that I want to do is to rough up all of these playing cards. They're too waxy and shiny and new looking. So first I will go and rough them up with some of these sanding blocks. And then I'll probably do different things with some of them. I'll certainly ink the edges, and then I'll probably glue on some bits of paper and some bits of tissue. So I will just be quiet and do that, and I'll just do a couple of them for you to see, and then at the end, when I'm finished with all of them, I'll show you what I ended up with. All right, I have all of my cards done. I put tissue paper on some, napkins on some, old book pages on some, and then I left some without any of that and just scuffed them up. So what I need to do now is work with my tabs. I tea-dyed this fabric. This is what it looked like before. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to decide how wide of strips I want and cut this into strips. And basically I'm going to need to be able to have 3 strips and then 2 strips in between those. So basically you've got to be able to fit 5. There won't be 5 on each one, but it's got to be room for 5. So I'll figure that out, and I will cut my strips, and then I will be back to start the gluing process. I've already tried this once and messed it up, so I'm going to try again. I have these in order of the way I want the book to be. I've cut my tabs at about 1 1/8 or a little more than 1 inch wide and, well, long, and 3/4 of an inch wide. And we're going to do it like this. We want, on this first page, on the cover, we're going to have 3 tabs. So let me take it off of the stack, and I will put 3 tabs on it. I'm going to go ahead and use the tabs I was using before. They have a little bit of glue on them already. Let's see if I can get this right this time. So I want a tab about here. And one in the middle, about here. And one down here. Like that. So that is your first page. The second page will fold over, and you want 2 tabs here and here. So let me set that aside, and actually I will turn it around this way. Make sure we get the tabs in the middle, if we can, between those tabs. Here, put a little more glue on that one. So that would go about here. And this one go about here. Let me wipe that off. So that now, of course, I'm going to have to dry that. That sits here. Yeah, see, I don't think that that is right. I think the tabs should go here. I don't know if I'm doing this right now, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the tabs here. Let me get the glue off here. All right. And then it would fold over here. Yeah, I think we're getting the hang of it now. And then that was 2 tabs. So these 3 tabs here and here will fold over. Nothing like learning while doing. I need to get a new thing of Fabri-Tac, and I believe I have one on the way. But I will just have to make do with this one. And of course, the best thing to do, I believe, is to wait until these dry before continuing on. But see, now what I don't get is I have these, maybe that just stuck there. Because I opened it like that. And then this one will need 3 tabs again. I believe I'm going to put them on this side. Here, here, and here. And then I'll fold that over, and those 2 tabs will connect to that one. Let's try that. Let me make sure I'm in the camera. Yeah, good, I'm in the camera. All right, I'm gonna try that. Wish me luck. All right, I won't do all of these on camera. Once I get the hang of it, I will. Oh yeah, I'm running out of glue. I will come back at the end. So right about there. And a little more. And I have these lined up as best I can on these lines, trying to get them somewhat in the same basic place on the card. Like this. All right, that looks good. These aren't quite dry, but I'm gonna go ahead just to show. Then I'd put that one there and fold over these two. Then I'll see if I'm doing it right. So your book so far would be like this. Yeah, that's looking better. It does have more space in between them than I was expecting. But I guess if you want it to fold over, there will be a little bit of space. You can try to tighten them up. But that's the way we're going. So this page will now have, I gotta figure that out. It's gonna have two, because when you fold it over, these three will come over. All right, let's do it. I still am not sure. Yeah, on the 7 card we did 3, so on this card we'll do 2. I guess you do the opposite of whatever is poking out here, which makes a little bit of sense. So I watched one video on how to do this. Maybe I should have watched a few more videos, but I just like to jump in. And you know, I messed up already once, and I just pulled the tabs off and started over again, so it's not the end of the world. Wait, did I say that right? Yeah, I did it right. I think I'm doing it right. Nothing like second and triple guessing yourself. It wouldn't be unlike me to say one thing and do another. All right, and then you fold it over. I'll try to get it all together. And then you fold up the ones behind it. Poor thing of glue. Fold them over. And so with the next card, I would do 3, opposite of whatever is sticking out. So that makes the book look like this. Of course, those will be tucked in like that in the end. Looks like this. Gotta keep working because I closed it up before it's all dry. All right, so because I do want to wait in between pages to let the tabs dry really well, I will continue off camera, and I'll come back toward the end. All right, I'm back with the last 3 pages, and I will continue what I've been doing. So I take the next page and line it up as best I can. Because I have 3 tabs here, I'm going to put 2 tabs on this page. So let me get my little tabs. I think you can use other materials for the tabs. You might be able to use washi tape, bookbinding tape, maybe. Mine aren't perfectly even and aligned, but again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe we don't even want it to be perfect. But I also have this weird material that I believe is blinds material. Yeah, I think it's from window shades and blinds, and I tea dyed it. And I thought that that might make a good tab as well. And what I liked about this was it's not going to, you know, shift. Whereas this is fabric, and I think it could shift. But I decided to use fabric with this one, and we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. I have never done this before. All right, then you lay this one on, and then I try to align it as best I can. So see how it's not even? This one's not really in the middle. And so now I want to put glue on these 3 and fold them over. And I saw one video, maybe I'll try to link to it. When she did it, she took her fabric and she like inked all over it or something, so that her little tabs had decorations on them, which I thought was pretty cool. But I thought I would just go plain this time, and we'll see. All right, so the next page, I put it in between the sticking out tabs, so I'll put 3 on this page. I'll line them up here. Let me see if it's still in the, yes, it's still in the shot. This is a little short one. A little bit of glue. So I'm doing here. And in the middle. And at the bottom. You don't need too much glue, at least I don't think you do. All right. I'm gonna assume those are gonna be dry enough. And you put that on there. Let me even that up again. This is pretty thick. I don't know if you're supposed to make them this thick, but we'll see how it turns out. So these 3 I put on this one, so to fold over these 2 to bind it. Try to pull it a little taut. Got stuff stuck all over me. And then the last page is my joker page. And because I have the 3 sticking out, I'll be putting 2 on this one. Got it a little bit even, I think. And the last one. Was I supposed to put tabs on the last one? I don't know. Well, I've got tabs on the front, so I will just fold those over. No, I'm going to fold these over. All right, I'm going to take these tabs off the last one. Take those off. Smudge the glue off a little bit. I'll just add to it. So what it would look like without those, when I fold these over, oh no, wait, I see though, because then I won't have matching ones here, because all the other pages inside, they match. And I do have tabs on the front cover. My fear is though, I'll have 5 tabs on the back cover. Well, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna put the tabs back on. All right. Good, I think this is one of the ones I used. Okay. That back. Yep, and I used this one. Ah. Back there. All right. I wonder if that's the way you're supposed to do it. Now that is the back of the book. And all of the tabs are going to fold over on this one. I think I watched a video, but I don't think I watched it all the way through to see what the back looks like. So it doesn't really matter, because this is what the back of mine is going to look like. Got it straight and even. Fold them over. I suppose I could have just put half tabs, but that would be silly, and I don't think that would have looked good. And of course, since this is the back of the book, I might put something to cover all of that anyway. All right, and so that is, well, now I'm looking at the front of the book, and the front of the book doesn't have the tabs matching either. Oh well. I don't think I'm going to take it off and do it again. I think I'm going to leave it like that. All right, so this is the front of the book. Let me close up my glue before I go through that. And this is what it will look like unadorned. And as I'm going through, making sure nothing is stuck, I might have some bits of glue I want to scrape off with my glue eraser. This looks pretty cool. Oh, see, I had some glue somewhere. That's a bubble glue there. All right, almost to the end, and there's the end. So now, and look how it's thinner here. I've got plenty of room to do a little bit of decorating to open that up a bit. Now I just have to decide if I want to leave it like this. It looks kind of uneven, but it does have charm. Or if I want to cover that with something, which is probably what I will end up doing, just because I like the idea of a cover there. It could just be lace. All right, that is binding the book together, and the next steps will be decorating the pages. I hope you follow me along on the next video. It'll be fun. See you next time.